As a designer, the services that I offer are stationery, logo, um, brochure design, and promotion flyers. As far as what I can offer a client, I can offer them a dependable, creative, open minded, and hard worker who is willing to dig deep and go beyond what is asked. I can also offer them a graphic designer who is strong technically and artistically. The first key behavior that hinders a relationship with a client is being uninterested. Some clients are not interested in the actual project, they just simply want the job done. And when they're not interested, the first idea that the designer comes up with, they usually will say, okay, good, do that. My way of dealing with that is to try to motivate the client and to get them interested in the idea of designing the project. And I also try to ask them for their input and to get their feedback so I'll know what I need to do to make the project or design better. The second behavior that hinders a relationship with a client is being indecisive. According to Jack Knight of FreelanceSwitch.com 2007, their indecisiveness and an inability to articulate what they are after makes them one of the few clients that is generally best to stay clear of. What Jack Knight usually meant by that is that when dealing with this type of client that usually does not know what they want, they will simply just pick something and they'll say, okay, I like it, let's do that. Or they'll say, well, I don't know, just do something that looks nice. And it really doesn't help the designer when you're coming up with a design that's supposed to be meant and suited for that company or that client. Um, and also, by this time, when you've come up with a design concept, it's usually not what the client is looking for. They will not like it, and they will become frustrated with you, and you will also become frustrated, and the deal usually falls through. Um, so the best way that I know to deal with this is to actually sit down with the client and to pretty much just ask them what they're looking for. Um, and also, if I make any revisions, explain to them the extra cost in making revisions. The third key behavior that I feel hinders a client is being cheap. According to Tiffany Brown of TiffanyBrown.com 2007, if an inquiry from a potential client begins with how much for a website, brochure, or flyer, thread carefully. That usually is a sign that the client is trying to get a lot for a little. And basically, what she means by that is that um, some clients will come up to a graphic designer and they'll say, okay, can you do this and can you do that? And there usually is a set price, but after you've come up with a design for that client, they'll say, well, I don't have a lot of money. Can you simply do this and do that for me, and I'll just pay for it later? I find that most designers, if you cannot afford the price, they usually will have make it where you pay a little bit here and a little bit there, and a lot of times to avoid having to go through that whole process is to just sit down with the client and ask them what their budget is. And after I ask them what their budget is, I will then say, well, I can do this, I can do that according to your budget. That makes things a little bit easier. A good example where a broad shop marketing approach would be ideal in addressing the client's needs is club promotion flyers. Basically, with club promotion flyers, you will have your design, and also on the back side of the flyer, you will have your logo and your company information. Usually, when these are handed out to the public will see these flyers and they will see your artwork, and if they like your artwork, more than likely they'll try to get in contact with you, and you'll probably have you a new potential client. A good example where a bullseye marketing approach would be ideal in addressing the client's needs would be emailing an election campaign manager to promote your design services, because bullseye marketing approach is supposed to be more personal, where you get in contact with your potential client through email, telephone, or mail. um, by emailing the message promoting your design services to an election campaign manager, it's a great way to be personal and one-on-one with a potential client. And if you should succeed in landing the client running for election for an office, your work will be on display to the public, and the news about your design services will spread word of mouth and line up hopefully a new group of potential clients in the process.